Nasi Lemak is a simple dish. However, it is widely cherished and consumed in its homeland and beyond. In this video, I'm sharing with you how following the simple steps of cooking your own Nasi Lemak can ease your path to a secured good ending and eventually a beautiful abode in the paradise. Insha'Allah. Since we are going to talk about Nasi Lemak, you may want to get your plate of Nasi Lemak or alternatively a cup of coffee or tea. And let's do this. Bismillah.
أتيتك يا خالقي باكيا ودمع الأسى كل حين يزيد فقد قلت في الآي لا تقنطوا وإن تعف عني فذا يوم عيد وإن تعف عني فذا يوم عيد.
Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to a new video here on One Baba Salam. Nasi Lemak is a Malay traditional dish that has emerged to be a national food, mainly in Malaysia. However, besides the fact that it is now well known internationally, a typical Malaysian, Singaporean, Indonesian, Bruneian, or even Southern Thai may live away from home for years and years, but he will never forget Nasi Lemak. That is if he doesn't learn to cook it for himself wherever he finds himself. It is a simple dish typically taken for breakfast, but it is also taken any time of the day. Nasi Lemak is made of fragrant rice cooked in coconut milk and pandan leaf. Once cooked, it is dressed with spicy stew called sambal, made with fried anchovies called ikan bilis here. It is usually topped with boiled or fried egg and some peanuts and chopped cucumber. Even though it is simple and cheap, it is cherished among all classes of the different societies. Oh yeah, it is Nasi Lemak, not Nasi Lemak. Nasi Lemak is among the easiest dishes one can prepare. However, selecting the ingredients of the recipe for your dish differs. It differs from one person to another, depending on the standards we set for ourselves and the outcomes we expect to achieve. We have learned that rice is a core ingredient of Nasi Lemak, specifically fragrant rice. However, someone may be okay with any fragrant rice. In fact, someone else may go with any rice for that matter. But someone else may insist on a specific traditional fragrant rice no matter how costly it may be. Also, Nasi Lemak is Nasi Lemak only if it is cooked with coconut milk. Then again, someone may go with bottled coconut milk, while someone else may be fine with canned coconut milk. However, someone else may only do it with fresh coconut milk. Another core ingredient of Nasi Lemak is pandan leaf. Some may do it with any pandan leaf or any leaf close to pandan leaf. But some will stick to only authentic or say organic pandan leaf for that matter. As for the sambal, the stew, some may go more on the spicy side and some will take the sweet side. And some may prefer combination of additional spice and more sugar. On top of that, the size of the anchovies may matter to some people, and some will do with anything as long as it is anchovies. In addition to the peanuts, some people may prefer to add fried egg, and others will only go with boiled egg. Of course, chopped cucumbers can be organic or otherwise. In the end, however one chooses or goes, it will affect the final taste of his Nasi Lemak. The good news is, you are cooking it for your own self. If one can't cook it to the best for his own self, then he may not be able to cook it any better for others. All the above mentioned are beside the nature of other ingredients that may be used. Think of cooking oil as well as any other unnamed ingredients. Also, consider the cooking environment and the soul, or say the passion, that will be put to deliver and present it. Man is naturally inclined to sharing with others his achievements and capabilities, regardless of what may motivate that, and regardless of whether others will find it beneficial or otherwise. This is also true in the case of food. In other words, man appreciates it and feels good when others appreciate his cooking and his style of mixing ingredients to produce tastier meals. In fact, this is even when he himself may not enjoy his own cooking. The use of cooking your own Nasi Lemak is a metaphorical concept for the reality of taking responsibility of what we do as Muslims or otherwise. This is necessary because taking responsibility and doing what we do responsibly will affect how our Nasi Lemak will taste in the end. Now, let's take it more seriously. In the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, كل نفس ذائقة الموت. Every soul shall taste death. This part of verse has been repeated in three different occasions in the Quran. In Surah Al Imran, in Surah Al Anbiya, and in Surah Al Ankabut. While there are other verses in the Quran that inform with certainty that we are all destined to die, these three verses are the only ones that describe the experience of death and compare it to the example of tasting. Instead of every soul shall taste death, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala could have simply said, every soul shall die. The use of taste is probably to draw our attention to the fact that although it is called death for all, each will taste it differently. Even if the outward experiences of different people happen to look similar. In other words, no two people who die in their sleep taste death the same way. No two people who die in the same accident taste death the same way. No two people who drown and die taste death the same way. The experiences may seem the same, but the tastes are certainly different. So, whoever wants his Nasi Lemak to be tasty, since he is the one and only going to taste that cooking of his own, then it is wise that he ensures to cook it properly. The thing is, cooking your own Nasi Lemak is unlike cooking the literal Nasi Lemak. This is because in the case of cooking literal Nasi Lemak, it may take between 20 minutes to half an hour. However, cooking your own Nasi Lemak is a one-time journey and process. Yes, it is a one-time journey and process, but we differ in the time we take to go through that journey and process. In other words, tasting your own Nasi Lemak, which you cook on your own for your own consumption, is going to take place only once, regardless of how long you take to prepare it, regardless of how long you leave it on the fire, regardless of how low or high of fire you put your Nasi Lemak pot on. Therefore, every other day serves and contributes to your cooking of your own Nasi Lemak. Every endeavor adds to your preparation of your own Nasi Lemak cooking. Every ibadah, act of worship, increases the brightness or dims the brightness and the attractiveness of your own nasi lemak. Well, tasting your own cooked nasi lemak is different from consuming it, and both shall happen. Tasting your nasi lemak takes place at the point of death. However, consuming your nasi lemak shall take place either in paradise Jannah or in hell Jahannam. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant all of us Jannah. Allahumma ameen. Again, when cooking our literal nasi lemak, you have the chance to make adjustments to your recipe and add some more spices, some more sugar to the stew, or you will make different considerations in your next cooking of literal nasi lemak. All that is possible as long as it is the real and literal nasi lemak. I mean, adding more salt, spices, and sugar. In fact, making more considerations in your next cookings. However, none of that is possible when it comes to cooking your own nasi lemak. Here I'm talking about the nasi lemak of death. What you cook is what you get. What you get is what you taste. And there will be no re-cooking. So the Muslim is ought to plan and prepare his own nasi lemak wisely. واتقوا يوما ترجعون فيه إلى الله ثم توفى كل نفس ما كسبت وهم لا يظلمون. And fear the day when you shall be made to return to Allah. Then every soul shall be paid in full what it has earned, and they shall not be wronged. Just as real and literal nasi lemak has a set of core ingredients in its recipe, cooking your own nasi lemak also has its set of core ingredients in its recipe. The closer you stick to the prescribed ingredients, the best taste of your nasi lemak you make for yourself. I have elaborated on these ingredients in a separate article on gsalam.net, link provided in the description below, but here is a summary of them. First, establishing a strong belief, a strong iman upon Tawheed, oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, with all the requirements of Tawheed, with all the conditions of Iman, and with all the pillars of Iman and Tawheed taken into consideration. Second, living upon Islam with its requirements, with its pillars and conditions, with its halal and haram, with its do's and don'ts, and with its social values and ethics. And working on your ingredients by living according to the commands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the teachings of His chosen messenger for this ummah, sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Not according to our own desires, nor according to the desires of anyone else other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. These requirements, or say ingredients, are not impossible, nor are they scarce to be found in the market. They are abundant. Therefore, none has any excuse to be ignorant or oblivious about them. When I shared the concept of cooking your own nasi lemak with my family, my daughter asked, what if one chooses to not cook the nasi lemak? It is interesting to note that by asking this question, she acknowledges that it is only nasi lemak that must be cooked. It is not a matter of, I want to cook chicken rice instead of nasi lemak, or I want to cook jollof instead of nasi lemak. It is either you cook nasi lemak or you don't cook at all. Put it this way, one is stranded and he has to respond to call of nature. He can choose to respond and he can choose to not respond. Either way, the call of nature cannot be cancelled or undone. In every 24 hours, man must have some sleep. even if it is for half an hour only. One can choose to not honor that for himself, but the need for honoring that cannot be changed. And there is a price to pay for failing to sleep within 24 hours. Furthermore, in life, every child of Adam is given the willpower and choice, so he can choose to or to not cook his own nasi lemak. However, while one can choose to not cook his own nasi lemak, he cannot choose to not eat it. This means his decision to not cook means he has chosen to eat it raw, to eat it uncooked. This is because at the end of the day, by all means, it shall be eaten, and you were given enough time and space to get the ingredients you need, the utensils you need, and in fact, the kitchen space where you cook your own nasi lemak, and present it in one plate to be eaten. And there is only one person going to eat that one plate. And that person is the chef of that nasi lemak that was supposed to be cooked. You on your own, I on my own, he on his own, she on her own, each one of us on his own respectively. So back to the question, can one choose to not cook his own nasi lemak? The answer is simply yes, but at his own risk. And the price for that choice, if anyone chooses so, is painful and regretful indeed. Similar to the price when one chooses to not respond to the call of nature or refuses to have some sleep. إنا أنذرناكم عذابا قريبا يوم ينظر المرء ما قدمت يداه ويقول الكافر يا ليتني كنت ترابا. We have warned you of a punishment which is near at hand, on the day when man shall see what his hands have sent ahead, and the disbeliever shall say, "Oh, I wish that I were dust." Nasallah salama. This is the concept of cooking your own nasi lemak. As a parent, the moment I introduce this to my family, reminding myself and any of them has never been easier. It has never been more persuasive, and it has never been easily relatable and resonating. If you are watching this, consider the concept, share it with your family and especially your children. You may want to replace nasi lemak with any traditional and widely accepted food in your locality. In fact, you may want to replace nasi lemak with the dish you can cook the best. Whichever you choose to do, feel free to share with us in the comments below how it has inspired you and your loved ones, and how it has helped you and your loved ones to be more mindful Muslims. By the way, if you haven't gone to Malaysia, Singapore, Indonesia, or Brunei, or even Southern Thailand, when you happen to be there one fine day, make sure the first dish you ask for is nasi lemak. If you have followed this video to this point and you are new here, my name is Baba Salam. Beside this channel, I run gsalam.net, a website for learning and sharing Islam the authentic way. Al-Bushra by Gsalam, a multimedia window for gsalam.net on YouTube as well as on Facebook and other social media handles. I am also the guy behind tvq.academy, a virtual school for teaching and learning the Quran. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala safeguard our faith and grant us good ending as Muslims. May He inspire each of us to cook our own nasi lemak wisely and deliciously. Until our next video, I leave you in Allah's protection. Wassalamu alaikum.
أتيتك يا خالقي باكيا ودمع الأسى كل حين يزيد فقد قلت في الآي لا تقنطوا وإن تعف عني فذا يوم عيد وإن تعف عني فذا يوم عيد